You're listening to the Awkward High-Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
Uh-oh, don't look. Stacy.
Where? Oh, God, I made eye contact.
Psycho hose beast.
Happy anniversary, Wayne.
Stacy, we broke up 2 months ago.
Well, that doesn't mean we can't still go out.
Well, it does, actually. That's what breaking up is.
Will, are you gonna go to the gasworks tonight?
No. No!
Don't you want to open your present?
If it's a severed head, I'm going to be very upset.
Open it.
Okay. What is it?
It's a gun rack.
A gun rack? A gun rack. Yeah, right. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I gonna do with a gun rack?
That was loud. Welcome, let me turn this down a little bit. Welcome to the Awkward Hi-Fi podcast. My name is Devin.
And I'm Rich.
We're having volume issues in the beginning of the show, but that's okay. We'll figure it all out. Can you hear yourself in the headphones now?
Yeah, I hear myself fine.
Okay. All right, good.
I didn't know we were like in the 30s episode-wise.
I think this is episode 32 or 31 or something like that.
In the 30s somewhere.
I know, it's crazy.
Great.
You know what's weird about that opening clip? Is I forgot all about Ugly Kid Joe.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
I was thinking that.
I went to get that, whatever. That's a funny line of the movie and all that stuff. And then I heard that song and I was like, wait a second, what song is this? And then I remembered fucking Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah.
That band just totally dropped off the face of the planet for me.
Yeah, they did that cover and then they were gone.
Yeah, Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon. That was a weird ass cover to do.
Well, that like sealed their coffin.
You think that was it?
Yeah, after I heard that, I was like, they suck.
Didn't they do one more song after that?
I don't know.
Or you know what? I think I'm getting them and
Silverchair?
No, not Silverchair. What was the band? Green. Well, they were Green Jello, and then they legally had to change their name to Green Jelly. And they're the ones that did that Little Pig, let me in. And
that's the different band, right?
Yeah, but for some reason, those two bands seem like the same.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, they're kind of similar.
But and I think Green Jello or Green Jelly or whatever they became, they also did like some cover song was like their next song, and then they fell off the earth.
That was their nail, yeah.
But remember how big that Green Jelly song was? The Little Pigs Let Me In, and it was just
terrible.
like a claymation of the pigs and the wool. Like
Yeah.
a band literally just made a song out of the stupid Three Little Pigs thing,
nursery rhyme.
and then all the maniacs in the '90s are like, "This is awesome."
I guess it was considered some type of metal, right? That was like some early '90s heavy metal shit.
I guess I don't know what kind of band. They're probably what they probably were, because I'm not going to act like I know a lot about them. But they're probably like a band that was like pretty popular in like the underground scene. Like they probably had some songs that everybody liked and everything, but that was the only song that they could kind of get the pop. And it was just their, how that happens.
Yeah,
and then they like pop up for a second. And then they come back down, that kind of thing.
That's like what Limp Bizkit did. They sucked. They covered Faith, got popular, and they rode that shit out.
Yeah, but then unfortunately they stayed around for a while. They started talking about the Nookie and all that shit, and then like they were still
like Nookie.
Oh no,
I do.
You like that song?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a rapper that Fred Durst used to bite off of with like his rhyme schemes, and I can never figure out who it is, and I never will. But there was something like with that whole, I can't believe that I could be deceived. There's something. No,
I just got douche chills. Even you just saying that just gave me douche chills.
Yeah, but the worst douche chills ever from Durst was he was hanging out with what's the bassist, the main dude in Kiss? Would always, like,
Gene
spit out
Simmons.
blood. Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
He was hanging out with Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons put out a tongue magazine where all the people are supposed to stick their tongue out, whoever he's interviewing. And Durst tried to like take some cute picture with his tongue out, and is the worst fucking shit. If I didn't want to kill him before, that was his nail.
I saw a sex video with Fred Durst in it.
Fred Durst fucking?
Yeah, it was
Did
Fred
he keep the hat on?
I think it was like a POV kind of thing, like he was holding the camera. And I'm just gonna say, Fred Durst pencil dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You know which reminds me is that I found out this weekend, a friend of mine who's a female, told me and the people that we were with that she, and not only she, but other girls have this foolproof system, I guess, that's been in women have had forever, that they could tell the size of a dude's dick by their hands. Now, it's not I know what you're thinking immediately. You're thinking it's not that. Like, obviously that isn't true or whatever. But and she wouldn't exactly tell us. Well, we were also all very drunk at this point. It was later at night, but she started telling us about it. So, of course, we're all throwing our hands on the fucking thing and asking her, and she wouldn't tell us exactly. And I was a little foggy, but basically it had something to do with like the size of the top of the finger and the nail bed and all this shit.
What?
And she said, she swears that like this is an exact science and that women know about this and this is.
And it's proven true?
But, I don't know because I asked her to evaluate my dick by my hands and, the description that she gave, I don't think was very I mean, I guess it could be accurate. I think we're dealing in vagaries here.
Yeah, it was kind of like a tarot card type of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right.
It would always be right.
But it was just interesting that I'm 35 years old, about to be 36 years old, and I never knew that there was this underground movement of women that by nail beds and tips of fingers could figure out what dudes' dicks look like.
Damn, I wish there was one of those systems for the Ziggy nose.
Right.
Away.
Or fucking, right, exactly. I'm not even I was gonna start to get real like misogynist or like how far they droop or tell that shit. But
well, that has a lot to do with like kinetic energy as well, I'm sure.
But I'm imagining now like fucking like single chicks at a bar, and they go in the bathroom to like fucking powder their nose or do coke or whatever, and be like, "Do you see the nail bed on that guy out there?"
That can't be true. I'm gonna ask around. I'll find out about that.
Yeah, and also if women who listen to this podcast, if you can either confirm nor deny this rumor that I'm going on right now, because this came from one person. Now I'm going to say trustworthy source. I consider her a very good friend, and the things that she says are normally true. So
and you could tell if it was done for entertainment or for truth, right? Was she just trying to just spark a funny conversation?
I don't know where this came from. Again, this was a little bit later in the night. We were all I was in Washington, D.C. for the whole weekend with a bunch of friends, and it was just an all-out bender all weekend kind of thing. So it was a little bit foggy. I don't know how the conversation came up, but all I know is at one point, it was just a bunch of dudes throwing their hands on a bar and like screaming, like, do me, that kind of thing. But I thought about it later in a more sober mind, and I was like, "Is that true? And if that is true, how did I have never heard of that?"
The nail bed. That's
I have no idea.
Damn, my nail beds are weak.
Yeah, well, see that'll disprove the whole thing right there. I don't know. And I wish I could remember exactly what her evaluation of my penis was, because I would be able to tell you, but I don't exactly remember. So I don't know. Whatever. So yes, if you're a woman listening to this podcast and you can confirm this, please email us.
Yeah, I'm so curious.
The awkward Hi5 podcast at gmail.com, or Twitter us, or tweet us, as the kids say, at awkward AHI5 at the twitter.com, or Facebook or anywhere else, or send us a fucking carrier pigeon or whatever.
Yeah.
Smoke
and if
signals.
there's any other things about that we need to know, share those as well.
If I really, as a single guy, I need to know if women know the size of my dick before. Normally that's something I want to keep secret until I get into the bedroom and shut off all the lights and do a lot of oral work first to make everything okay. So if I'm coming in fucking and they already know through some secret fucking society of nail beds,
you start wearing gloves to the bedroom.
I go,
aha.
Why don't you take off? I will come home with you, but why don't you take off those gloves? And you're like, nope.
Yeah, you do that shit where you put like the bugles on each fingertip. Check this out, bitch.
Yeah, just wear like a big ass Mickey Mouse gloves everywhere you go, so the tops just look like balloons. I don't know.
Do they have to be big at the tops?
I don't have all the information.
I'm
yet.
so curious now.
And I just didn't even think about it until we just brought up the Fred Durst having a little kid's penis. That
who was he fucking in that? Anyone famous?
No, some. I think it was his whole thing was like, check it out, I'm fucking a model. You know what I mean? Like, and this was years ago. I mean, this was this might have been even
when he was relevant.
Yeah, when he was still relevant.
Okay.
You know, it was like one of those on whatwould-TylerDurdenDo.com or some shit like that. You know, I just remember seeing it and being like, if I was you, I wouldn't put this out, my man. Is there anything about you that isn't embarrassing? The music,
Seriously.
the look, the fucking penis.
Yeah, the soul patch, everything.
Remember when we were in college and that was like, I guess, the Limp Bizkit era?
Oh,
and
everyone was Durst.
everyone was walking around with the stupid fitted red hat backwards.
Yep, everyone.
If my team had, like, let's say I was a St. Louis Cardinals fan or a Reds fan or something like that,
Philadelphia Phillies.
I would never wear their hat just in case somebody would ever even think that I was trying to give a little nod to the biscuit. But I do like to dress up like a werewolf when I play guitar.
That dude was actually good.
Really?
He was good at guitar. I thought he was a good guitar player.
I don't know much about him.
But yeah, he wore those contacts that like whited out his eyes and wore kilts and shit.
There was another celebrity death, Glenn Frey from the Eagles.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset about that.
Yeah.
A lot of Eagles fans out there, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Eagles fans.
Mm-hmm.
So Glenn Frey died.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because it brings me back to when I was a kid.
And you had that fucking peaceful, easy feeling.
Yeah, I actually, every time I say this, somebody wants to kill me, but I fucking hate the Eagles. With a
No,
passion.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to say that I don't care that somebody died, but okay, Glenn Frey died.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think the Eagles appeal a lot to the working man, I guess, because they're always exposed to the 104.3 radio.
Well, have you ever watched the documentary? It is amazing.
On what, the Eagles?
Yeah, whether you like the Eagles or you don't like the Eagles, just you as being somebody who played in bands for a large part of your life have to watch this documentary. I'm telling you, even if you like the Eagles, you'll probably end up disliking at least Glenn Frey and Don Henley anyway. And if you dislike Don Henley and Glenn Frey like I do, then you're going to end up fucking hating these guys. Because there was nothing about them that cared about music. They just don't. All they cared about was money. It was like a corporate, the Eagles were a corporation. Yeah, it's like what you would think, you know? But it's actually, I'm going to recommend watching this documentary. You're not going to have to put up with like the Eagles. It's really worth watching.
I don't know, douche chill city.
No, I'm telling you, it's not like an Eagle. It's not celebrating the Eagles. You know, it's not one of those things. It's a really crazy look into the economics of a popular band that happened to be led by two fucking dickhead egomaniacs that only cared about money, did not give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that just straight from the jump.
I said on this podcast before, and I got a little bit of pushback on it by the people that email and stuff, that 311 Down is the worst song ever written.
Yeah.
A close tie, if not a tie, but second place is Don Henley's Dirty Laundry.
Yeah, kick him
when
when
they're up, kick him when they're down, kick him when they're up.
Yeah,
and
that song sucks.
You know what would be a good? He was just sitting at home on his probably bed made of $100 bills and was just sitting there going, you know what would be a great idea if I write a song that every line of every verse ended in Dirty Laundry.
Yeah, that song is terrible.
It is the worst song ever written. And I fucking
that's worse than 311's Down, I think.
No, it can't be. The only way that Dirty Laundry would be worse than Down is if Don Henley said congratulations. But I was working with some dude again, a guitar. I worked with a lot of guitar players and musicians, and he was a cool dude. And me and him would talk music a lot. And he was more of a classic rock guy. But he still, we respected each other's opinion. And one day he was talking about how much he liked Don Henley. And I didn't want to like come at him with, Don Henley, I can't stand Don Henley and all that shit. But I was just going like, okay. And I was like, what's your favorite Don Henley song? What's your worst Don Henley song? And he said his favorite Don Henley song was Dirty Laundry.
Holy shit.
And that was it. Like, have you ever had somebody that you're getting along with, like, say one thing? Like, they'll say, say a movie that you love. Like, say out of nowhere, they're sitting there and they're like, man, Pulp Fiction sucks. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess we're never going to be able to hang out. Like, there's certain lines, and I'll do it for women, like, like my last girlfriend listened to horrible music and I put up with it. I probably shouldn't have, but I did and stuff. But like sometimes there's people that they're right on the cusp of are we going to be friends or not, and then they'll just say one, which might be insignificant to other people, but like a band or a movie or a comedian that you love and they say they suck, and you're just like, okay, well we're never going to talk again.
I go by food.
Really?
Yeah, like if a chick eats an Italian sub.
Oh,
curtains,
right,
right,
yeah. But I mean, we've been friends for 30 years. There has to be things that I eat that you think are disgusting.
No, when you make food and you eat food, I want to eat that.
What about Scrapple? I eat Scrapple. Oh yeah, you like
fucking love Scrapple.
Right, you're right. You do. That is normally a turn
Scrapple
on.
like defines my life.
That is yeah, you're right. That is normally the big one for me is that people cannot understand the fact that I eat and enjoy Scrapple. I know. Look, you don't got to tell me. I love it.
No, people don't get it.
I love it so. As a matter of fact, Scrapple ruined the Christmas last Christmas because we woke up in the morning as a family and cooked a nice big thing of Scrapple, but I ate it too quick out of the deep fryer and totally destroyed the whole top of my mouth, like to the point where there was like skin hanging down and shit, and I was tonguing it all day and shit. I fucking hate that.
Like those fries that we used to make at Bob's Market in Dildo. Whenever you'd put out a plate of fries, I'm like, damn, I need a plate of fries bad.
Yeah, but I didn't cut those. Those are pre-cut fries. I just put them in a deep fryer and took them out.
But they were
it's not
fried
like I made
golden.
Them. I consider myself a good cook, and that's one of the things as I rebuild my life that I'm really looking forward to getting back to. That's some things that some ladies out there might be listening to this podcast and saying like, damn, Dev's single. I wonder what's going on with him. And I'm going to let you know that you do get a lot of bullshit when you're dating me, but the one thing that you don't get, if anybody out there is on the cusp of if they want to start a relationship with me, is that you will get finely cooked meals pretty much every night of your life.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the whole process of cooking. I like it as an art form. I like to come home from work or whatever the hell I'm doing and like set everything up and listen to music, maybe have a beer or some wine and just create something for 2 hours. And it's normally pretty good. I can
and the presentation's always makes me want to eat.
So yeah, any girls out there thinking about they might want to date me? If you like getting cooked for, give old Deb back.
Look forward to breakfast. Breakfast is always.
Well, that was from all the years at Bob's Market in Dildo.
Yeah, it brought my cholesterol level through the roof. That's for damn sure.
I'll just give you the hint. Everybody says, Dev, how are your eggs so good? And here's the reason. Well, there's many ways to make eggs, but if let's say scrambled eggs, right? So let's say you're making scrambled eggs for a bunch of people, and you want them to be fluffy and delicious. A lot of people think you got to put milk in there or maybe half and half and all that shit. It doesn't really matter. If you want to make eggs go a little bit farther, you could put a little bit of milk in it. But the key to scrambled eggs is take them out of the pan before you think they're done. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all it is.
That's what I always do. I always turn the heat off and let them cook in their own heat.
Don't turn the heat off. And this is fucking riveting radio that we're doing right here. But
a lot of people are writing this shit down.
Just scramble the eggs until the point where they that they're cooked, but they still look slimy, like they still look like you shouldn't eat them, and then take them off. And then while they're on the plate or whatever, they will still cook for a little bit and just get fluffy as shit.
Oh yeah, that's your whole theory of it's still cooking in the aluminum foil. But you do that with like T-bone steaks. You'd be like, that shit's still cooking. I'm like, nah, that's not cooking.
Yes, it happens. The natural heat will still sear. I don't know about a T-bone steak.
Like you'll take something off the grill when it's in like rare. If somebody wanted medium and wrap it up, you're like, it's cooking to medium.
Yes, that's what happens. There's nothing worse than fucking
overcooked meat.
Overcooked meat. It's the worst thing in the world. You might as well not eat it. Just throw it the fuck out. I had a girlfriend who am I lying? It's fucking Carla, the one, and fucking she would not eat meat if it was red. And I was like, well, then don't eat meat.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, there's no point in getting a well done steak. You're just ruining a steak.
You're eating a shoe.
Yeah, right. Well, right. It's just there's no point in eating that. Eat chicken or eat a pork chop or something like that.
Pork chop,
but don't order a steak well done. You're just wasting that steak. Somebody who actually enjoys steak could have gotten that steak. And now you've just ruined it.
Taking good steak out of the mouth of steak lovers.
When I was in DC over the weekend, we went to a place where the claim is that this is unsubstantiated too, along with the penis fingers, but
penis fingers,
the finger penises. The claim was that it was one of the best like top 10 burgers in the country, and we were doing a little day drinking. I'm not gonna lie about that, but so we're a little loopy, and I ordered this burger, and it was fucking amazing. But the weird thing was, we went to go order it, and they said, "How do you want it done? Medium rare or well done?" And that was the only, like, because I'll normally say rare or it's medium rare, but like some people like it medium or something like that. And there was no other choices. And they said because of the cut of meat that they use on the burger, like I guess I didn't really ask that much, but from what she kind of said that I got was that from like the quality of meat and the cut of the patties that they use, there's only 2 ways you could cook it, either medium rare or well done.
That's
Otherwise
crazy.
it ruins it or something.
See, because that puts up a dilemma for me because I like the blood in the middle, but the burnt outside.
You like the char on the
I like the
outside.
char on the outside, but the blood in the middle. That'd be medium rare for me.
Yeah, well, they do medium rare.
Oh, that's what it was, medium
Rare or
Oh,
well done. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, I wouldn't eat a well done burger.
Nah.
One time when I was living in the fantastic downtown Jersey City area, there is a bar out there that I'll give a little shout out called the White Star Bar, who has pretty well known burgers. People around there know the burgers are really good. So I was ordering dinner one night, had it delivered, which I never normally did. And I asked for a rare burger, right? I'll normally say rare, you know.
Because you knew it'd be cooking the whole way to your house.
And also, I don't mind, as long as it's good meat, I don't mind a rare burger, you know. And this thing
Yeah, you can't eat a Tops rare.
Well, yeah, right. A fucking, what are those things? A Bubba burger? I'll take a Bubba burger rare, please.
Yeah.
No, and this thing showed up though, and it was like just a burger tartare. Like I don't even know if they threw it on the fucking thing. And I looked at it and I was like, nah, fuck it. If I get sick, I get sick, and I ate it.
You know where I live.
It was pretty fucking good. Well, have you ever actually had beef tartare
Yes,
before?
I have. Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable.
How you gonna ask me that question?
Yeah, I know you do. You like everything raw.
Yeah.
I mean everything.
Everything.
I had it also in Jersey City. There was a really like high end restaurant that opened up around the corner from my apartment. Went there to celebrate the the engagement, the laughable engagement that happened, as a matter of fact, and got it, and it was unbelievable. And I was a little apprehensive about it because I had never eaten it, and it's kind of. To look at just a plate of raw meat, and it was raw meat with like a raw egg in the middle. Like they actually
the presentation isn't too good looking.
They make it look like they mold it like like the cake for a strawberry shortcake. You know what I mean? So it has that indentation in the middle, like a circle, and then you could put the whipped cream in it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like the little sponge cake, like that, and then they crack the egg in the middle. So you're just eating raw meat and a raw egg. And I was like, all right, well, I got to do this for the experience, and it was pretty fucking delicious.
Yeah,
and also. I
don't know about the egg though.
It was good. It went together.
Yeah.
The raw egg thing is like a fucking like a thing. You know, that's what people do now. Like all these high end artisanal pizza places now. Like you could get fennel pizza and they'll just crack a raw egg in the middle of it. And
really?
Shit. Yeah.
I'm not into that.
But no, it's not. I mean, whatever. It's not that bad.
Nah.
But after I ate that beef tartare, I felt. I felt like strong. I don't know. I felt like I don't know how to explain it. Like I felt like a man, you know, like
it might have been the egg actually, because
could have been.
Yeah, because my brother, he was like a health nut, and he used to get these like super omega eggs. And one day I was hungry, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll eat the omega eggs," and I made them, and I got a burst of energy from it. I was ready to do shit.
I think it just might be eating just the blood of an animal, like, and I don't even, that doesn't even sound good.
You get cavemanish.
Yeah, like I was just like, like I fucking grabbed my girlfriend by her hair and drug her home and shit.
Tim the Toolman style.
Why, Tim the Toolman did that?
I don't know.
Why, just because I made that noise?
Because you made the noise, yeah.
We should play on this podcast the Tim the Toolman Taylor song.
I would love to. Mine skipped so bad that I haven't listened to it in years.
So if people at home don't know, why the fuck would you? Well, actually, the end song "We Die Love" kind of came from that era.
Yeah.
But me and RTG and a bunch of our musician friends and some non-musician friends did this thing for a few years where we kind of just had the white Wu-Tang Clan of joke rap.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it was. And over that time, I think we recorded like 100 songs, and most of them are rap, some of them are rock and all that shit, but they're all just joke songs. And I wasn't a part of it, but you guys did one song. All about Tim the Toolman Taylor, which is hilarious, and we will play that one day.
We did Pirates versus Vampires, was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was a good.
And that was before that stupid fucking. I can't stand that epic rap battles of history thing on YouTube. Have you ever seen that?
Nah.
And it's literally that concept, like Pirates versus Vampires. You guys wrote that. And that's a pirate and a vampire screaming at each other about who's better. And now there's two dudes that do that, and they've been around forever. It's like one of the biggest things on YouTube. And they'll have like Abe Lincoln screaming at Genghis Khan or something, and they rap battle. But it's all but it's not funny. You know,
Sure,
it's not at all. And when I used to take the path into Manhattan for work every day, they would have advertisements all over the place. It's like a giant account.
Fuck,
These dudes make
man.
tons of cash.
Again,
if we would have just capitalized on that, then we could have been those guys.
Seriously, and ours was actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that song is, I think it's a good song.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But, you know, they do the whole production, they dress up and all that shit. And I'm probably wrong. Probably everybody likes it. But I tried to watch it once or twice, and I was like, this is not
Fuck that. That's the whole Good Charlotte shit. Someone fucking heard. Stole our shit.
Are you talking about when Good Charlotte stole my my music video idea?
Yeah, everything. They would steal everything. Remember,
Good
wasn't it
Charlotte
more
is.
than one thing? Remember? Because you'd be like, Shh, Good Charlotte's around.
Yeah, they do well. Well, you know, Good Charlotte was one of those at the tail end of that scene that kind of ruined everything.
And there's, I was reading something in alternative press, and next year there's supposed to be the revival of that whole era, which I don't see how it could possibly revive, but
What, really bad pop punk?
not bad pop punk, but the whole, I would say it came from Jersey with Thursday and My Chemical Romance, and they call it screamo.
Right.
They're
But I
saying
wouldn't
screamo.
say Good Charlotte's a part of that. I put
Nah.
Good Charlotte more in the camp of Sum 41 and Blink 182,
Yeah.
where they came too late and they bastardized good music
Right.
and like became popular off of playing a weak version of better music.
Yeah, but I just mean because they came around the same time era. you
Yeah,
know,
right.
Where like punk had a little step into mainstream.
Well, like if you're gonna talk about that period, like whatever you may think of the individual bands, like sure, you might not be the world's biggest Thursday fan or something like that, you know, like or whatever, but I think that scene, that like New Brunswick underground scene, there was some cool shit that came out of that, and all those guys were cool. Like I don't have any problems with those bands, whether I listen to them or not, you know.
Yeah, I have no personal beef,
Right.
you know,
But they at least came from their own scene. You see what I'm saying?
yes,
Like
yes.
they grew up listening to NoFX and The Clash and all these bands, and they wanted to play that music, but they started writing music that they wanted to play,
Yeah.
and then started a scene. Whereas bands like Good Charlotte and all that shit just ripped off those bands, didn't do it as well,
Yeah,
and fucking
yeah.
and you know,
Totally.
and went straight to the top with it. You know, like they
Yeah.
were corporate bands to begin with.
But do you remember it was one Warped Tour? Every single underground punk rock band thanked Good Charlotte. Like Good Charlotte was funding the whole fucking thing. They had were obligated to thank Good Charlotte.
Yeah, look, they might be good dudes. You know, I don't know
They
them
probably
personally.
paid for everyone's lunch.
I know that like Tim Armstrong from Rancid is like friends with the Madden brothers, and like
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
even like some of his videos and shit, and you know whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just talking about that last wave of pop punk or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, like fucking it was just kind of lame.
It
I don't
was.
know. You know,
It
as
was-
growing up
it was
listening.
sad. It was upsetting.
Listening to that. Well, you know, I think the thing is like people go back and sorry for anybody who's not punk fans that we're doing, but people go back and they call, let's say, the Fat Wreck bands or the Epitaph bands, so like Lagwagon NoFX, Bad Religion. They call that pop punk, right? But that wasn't pop punk. I understand where
I call that power punk.
well, I understand where you're coming from if you do call that pop punk, because it is poppy. You know, there's melodies and stuff like that. But the pop punk thing, that was like a second wave of punk.
Yeah.
And then the pop punk thing came from Blink 182 and Good Charlotte and Sum 41 and all that shit. And then everybody just went back retroactively and then just labeled all the bands that they kind of were influenced by that as well, you know? Like I don't see NoFX as a pop punk band. I see NoFX as a straight up punk rock band. You know? They might not be as edgy as the Dead Kennedys or Minor Threat or something like that, you know? And they might play some ska songs and be a little bit bubbly and shit. But for what it's worth, they were a straight up punk band.
Yeah.
Blink 182 is a 100% pop band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind
That's
of
what
thing.
when people say, you know, like, oh, punk rock, it's 3 chords, it's messy, it's whatever. I'm like, yeah, that is punk rock. That is where punk rock started. But, you know, when I think about those East Coast punk rock bands, like, that is some intricate music. That almost came out of, like, the California metal scene. And
Sure.
then they added that punky vibe to it and came up with that power punk, you know, type of music.
Right.
But that in no way could be considered the sloppy 3-chord punk rock, because that is one of the most intricate, you know, you have jazz and then power punk. it's right underneath
I think
it.
some people out there would disagree with that.
I'm
but
joking,
yeah, right.
obviously, but it can't be considered a 3-chord punk rock, because that is some intricate shit.
Right.
You know?
And when you think of punk bands, right? And I'm not talking about bands that you like specifically, but let's just say you had to choose the one ultimate punk band of all time. Who would they be?
One ultimate punk band of all time.
Not necessarily the one that you like the most, the one that represents punk the most.
I know.
I mean, I have my answer unequivocally. I know the answer.
I know what you mean. I'm gonna have to go with. See, I'm trying to think of like New York-based punk rock because that's really where it started.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
there's an actual answer to this.
I'm sure there is.
This isn't an opinion. And I will tell you the answer after you say it. I'm just hoping that you say what I think.
I'm trying to block the Ramones out of my head.
No, that's the answer.
I know.
It's the Ramones.
Unfortunately.
And look, I love the Ramones, but here's the thing. You're going to tell me if you're going to say top punk bands of all time and you're going to say the Ramones, which is true. The Ramones are the best punk band of all time and should be. But you're not going to tell me that they weren't out of anybody a pop punk band.
Right,
they basically were just a faster version of the Beach Boys that wore leather jackets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but to say that the Ramones are a punk band and maybe NoFX is a pop punk band just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right? No,
you know,
not at all. Not at all.
All right, let's stop the punk talk.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I love
people are out there like Glenn Frey died today.
Yeah.
It's stuck in Hotel California forever.
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook about how some dude went off on how people just want to make it about themselves, how we were talking about. And, you know, it is truly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and
the Bowie thing will not go away. Like now, today, I saw 12 different posts about how, I guess an article just came out somewhere and then everyone started sharing it about how Coldplay, I guess, had asked David Bowie to sing one of their songs. And then Bowie kind of said, I don't want to. It's not that good of a song. So that's been all over the place today. Like, whenever a new article or something comes out, everyone's just still
jumps
sharing
all over it. Yeah. They love being newscasters.
Yeah. Well, you know. So, but speaking of dead celebrities, since we've been talking about this so much, you came up with a little list.
I gave you a whole list of people to mourn dating all the way back to the 80s, maybe even back to the 50s. So you guys could jump all over this and, you know.
Now, how many installments are on this list?
I made 10. I don't want to call it a top 10 list.
I don't know, but there's 10 on this list.
10,
so is this
10.
officially a...
You've selected RTG's
All right, it is.
top 10 list. Files downloading.
Yeah, this will.
I didn't know we were doing a top 10 list, and my plan was to not have that thing blow up this time. But maybe next time. We'll see.
All right, so I guess we'll put this in some type of order.
Whatever, just ramble it off.
Right.
But give it a name first.
All right, it's shit. I guess it's the 10 groups of people who died the same day. The top 10. The top 10.
I love how retarded you are when it comes to naming top 10 lists. It's great.
Some of these are triads, so it's not really pairs of people who died
The top
together.
10 instances where celebrities died on the same day.
Yes, celebrities / people of fame died on the same day.
What's the difference between a celebrity and a people of fame?
Because, you know, some people aren't really celebrities, you know, like some of these people on here are, you know, directors or movie producers that no one was going to know who they are.
People in the public eye.
Okay, people in the public eye died on the same day, but not just the same day, the same exact day, as in same day, same year.
Yeah, right, exactly. On the same day. Like we had talked about it before, how Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson died on the same day.
And that's number 10. That's
okay.
That's the first one on the list. That's what made me start thinking this stuff.
Okay. And we already talked about that, so we don't really need to go
And
there.
that date was June 25th, 2009. And I think I guessed that date. Did I say June 25th?
I'm going to have to go back and review the tape, but I think you were close.
It was up there. It was close.
And we talked about that. We were like in the bar that night, and the word came across the bar like a wave that Michael Jackson had died, and then people started playing songs. It was like it was a very cool night. But in the midst of all that, Farrah Fawcett passed away, and like kind of then started just getting the corners of newspapers and stuff. And like, what are you gonna do?
Sad,
right?
Poor Farrah got put on the back burner.
Is that part of this list? Do you have like who was the biggest?
Well, no, but we can make our own decisions on who was bigger because some of them are close.
Okay, lay number 9 on us.
Number 9 is going to be Jim Henson and Sammy Davis Jr. on May 16th, 1990.
Wow, Henson's been dead that long.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
and Mr. Bojangles.
for a 10-year-old, seriously, for a 10-year-old Dev, who that's how old I was in 1990.
Yeah.
Jim Henson would definitely have been the bigger upset then.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to say, as far as popularity and celebrity goes, that Sammy Davis Jr. is a bigger
he was
celebrity.
the bigger man.
I wonder who got the billing that day, like in the newspapers and stuff. It had to be Sammy Davis Jr.
I was gonna say, I think Henson got it.
Really?
But then again, we were that age, so maybe we only cared about Henson.
Right.
You know, maybe we didn't really care about Bojangles.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm sure when you think about how many people actually cared, I'm sure there was more adults that cared about Mr. Bojangles.
But also, Henson died at a young age. He was a young dude, and
A young dude?
yeah, I mean, he was not even 50. I think he died in his
Really?
40s. Yeah,
Holy shit.
or maybe he was like 50 or something. But for a relatively young guy, where Sammy Davis had like a very long life, so that might have been, Henson might have been more of an upset. let's say.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Well, number 8's kind of weak because no one really knows who Federico Fellini is. But
Who is he? Lay it on us.
He's a director.
What did he direct?
I have no fucking idea. So he was a European director, so he probably did like those real cheap Euro movies.
I think I've seen Fellini films. I just have to. Okay, go ahead.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Roberto? Like he has almost the same exact name.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, but he's more famous than this guy. But he died on October 31st, 1993, with River Phoenix.
Ooh, yeah. River Phoenix was a big one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Uh,
Doing coke with Flea and fucking Johnny Depp at the Viper Room, and then went slamming his head on the outside.
Oh yeah, La
concrete.
Dolce Vita. Yeah, I've definitely seen Fellini films.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So right. Well, okay. So now Federico Fellini died at 73. He had a long career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
River Phoenix was literally a teenager.
Yeah, no, was he? I don't think he was at least in his 20s. No,
I think he died when he was 19. Didn't he?
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
That I don't know for sure. I guess I could look that up as
Damn.
well. But yeah, I mean, and then that story had all the glitz and the glam to it because they're at the Viper Room, which is owned by Johnny Depp. He's fucking doing coke with Christina Applegate.
And
fucking
Flea.
yeah, right. And then fucking comes out and dies in the middle of the street in front of
Yeah.
everybody, and it's like
and I think he got ass naked too.
oh, did he? I didn't know.
I
about
don't know.
that.
Usually, not usually, but a lot of overdoses, people strip ass naked. I guess you get really hot before you OD, but usually you find them ass naked.
He died. He was 23 when he died.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was younger than that. So I'm gonna have to say that, especially in the United States, that River Phoenix was a bigger thing because I'm sure the tabloids just fucking ran with that shit.
Of course, yeah, definitely River.
Okay.
The next one's gonna be Freddie Mercury and Klaus Kinski.
Who's Klaus Kinski?
Another one of those Euro directors. They drop like flies when it comes to celebrities.
I thought there was gonna be more people that I knew on this.
There's gonna be. There's gonna be.
Well, I mean, so.
I think that's it for the no-namers.
Okay. Well, again, you're looking at a director or the lead singer of a giant fucking rock band.
Was he the lead singer? I thought he just played guitar.
What? Freddie
thought-
Mercury?
Oh, I was looking at somebody else.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was like, what?
Yeah, because the next guy on my list is guitar player.
Yeah. No, we're talking about
Yeah,
the lead
right,
singer of a
right.
giant. So, I mean, yeah, there's no contest there.
Yeah, none at all. None at all.
So,
That was November 23rd, 1991.
I'm looking at that right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. And, all right.
And I think that was like the first celebrity death from AIDS, too.
That was probably publicized from
Right.
AIDS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I mean the Freddie Mercury thing, like he didn't like when he was around, he didn't really discuss his homosexuality, and even though everybody knew it
Yeah.
and that kind of thing, and then
Once you grow that stash, it's obvious.
yeah. So I mean, hands down, that's Freddie Mercury for sure.
Yeah.
And a sad day for music, by the way. I'm a Queen fan.
So here's the last one that's gonna have a no name in it because we got Lauren Green, who I forgot what. Actually, I think it's maybe a female tennis player or someone I have no idea who it is.
Okay.
And Peter Tosh on September 11th, 87.
I don't think I know either of these people.
Peter Tosh?
This list sucks.
The guitar player of the Whalers.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah, everybody, the one Peter Tasha and a well-known celebrity in Scenario.
Yeah. You're
I
right.
think that's where you got more notability in there.
I don't know who Lauren Green is, though.
I don't know either. I looked it
Then why
up
is she on your list?
because it was a celebrity.
Okay.
You know, we needed him.
I'm going to say that day, most people just kind of went through their day not knowing that anybody died.
Probably. But here's where we get juicy.
Okay. Can't
'Cause
wait.
then we got Orville Wright, inventor of the airplane,
Mm-hmm.
and Gandhi.
Whoa. On the same day?
Yeah.
That's weird.
January 30th, 1948.
That's weird that I didn't even, for some reason I'm like the timelines don't add up there. Like you just think of the Wright brothers being like so fucking old.
Yeah,
and
but
Gandhi. I mean, I know that Gandhi was back then, but yeah, for some reason that's a weird.
I
thing.
mean, let's think of the airplane being invented in the late 1800s, right?
Okay.
And then he dies in 48. So he lived a fruitful life. He just died.
Right. Okay.
You know, and I know Gandhi had to be old because you never see young pictures of Gandhi.
Right.
He came out of the womb a crickety old man.
Yeah. Well, back then, I don't even know if there was like, did they even make death announcement? Was it like, read all about it, then you flip the fucking coin and the guy bites it and shit?
Right.
Like, who knows about that?
That's why the next one is a good one, but
Okay, but wait. We're going to have to choose. So for you...
who the bigger death is?
Yeah.
Between Orville Wright and Gandhi?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Orville Wright.
I'm going to say Gandhi.
All right.
You know?
I'm going to say Orville Wright because...
It's weird because
airplane.
they both like contributed so much to society.
Yeah.
But still, I know Orville Wright invented a mode of transportation.
Which is more important than my life than a peaceful Gandhi.
No, I get it, but Gandhi's such a big name, you know.
It is.
I think if you were to ask, and I don't know if this should be the barometer or not, but I think if you were to ask like college kids that are in school right now, whether who Orville Wright is and who Mahatma Gandhi is, they would probably know Gandhi over Orville Wright.
Probably. I mean, they'll probably know both, but maybe they'll say Gandhi's the bigger one because they're so intellectual.
Also, a little side stat that I heard today, not to throw you off track on this wonderful top 10
I'm
list.
not going to get off track.
But I heard that today that 10% of people that are in college student right now think that Judge Judy resides on the Supreme Court.
What? No.
You've selected
On that note.
RTG's top 10 list.
Man, that fucking computer is so
Files.
high. I just want to...
Downloading.
Do you know? Explosion.
I don't know much about the AHI5 supercomputer, but I would feel like
It's in bad shape.
I would feel like if there's ladies out there that want to date it, it would cook them meals every night. I don't know, just something about that voice.
So do you know, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that on college campuses now, there's a place that you could run to if you're being verbally offended by something someone's talking about.
I don't know that for sure, but I 100% fucking believe it.
That's so sad.
I mean, college campuses have always been the bastion of fucking of
Run for cover.
of pussies. You
Yeah.
know, like it like just like the movie PCU. You know, like that whole fucking thing. It's totally like that, and
Yeah.
as it should be. You know, like that is a place where people could just be their ultimate hippie or emo or whatever. That's fine. But yeah, I don't
That run to a safe spot.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
This whole thing that we're going through right now is going to end up cannibalizing itself because the human race cannot exist under these conditions.
No.
it just can't. Like the
But I think it's just America. I don't think Euros are offended by
No, I'm
shit.
sure that's been going on there
Yeah?
too. Yeah, it's just the sensitivity. It's because what's going to happen is that out of all of these people that are growing up in this like sensitive landscape where you can't say anything about anybody, there's always going to be people their same age group that either didn't grow up that way or don't give a fuck about those rules, and then those are going to be the people that succeed in life.
Right.
And sooner or later, everyone's going to realize that no, you got to have to be a little cutthroat to succeed
Yeah,
in
no
life,
doubt.
and it's going to take back over. So I'm not even worrying about it. When I hear
Not
those
worried
stories,
about
I'm
it.
just like,
I just feel really bad for those kids. Like, why were you raised to be such a pussy?
right.
I don't
Well, you
get it.
should worry about it because when we're fucking, hopefully, if we make it into our 60s and our 70s, these are the fucking cats that are going to be like making our decisions and shit.
Yeah, true.
Got to worry about that fucking thing.
I know.
All right, go on with the top of 10 list.
Next one's a goodie. We got John Adams and Thomas Jefferson dying not only the same day in 1826, but on the 4th of July.
Yes, I did know this. That's as a very interesting fun fact.
That's a good tidbit. And also down the line somewhere, not in the same year, but also on July 4th, the next president, James Madison, died on July 4th.
Oh, right.
It's weird.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's like you sign the Declaration, you die with the Declaration.
I don't think there's any contest there, though. Thomas Jefferson all the way.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
NJ represent.
Me and Thomas Jefferson have a lot in common.
What's that?
We both like women of color.
That is true.
Yeah.
And if it was still legal, probably would have kept slaves.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts that they both died on the same day. I did not know where to go with that.
It's true.
It's the fact that you agreed to that so quickly. Yes, I would keep
Yes, I would
slaves.
keep slaves.
Okay. Wait, where are we on this list now?
We're heading into number 3, which from here on out, they're going to be triads.
Ooh. throw a little spice into the mix.
So number 3 is going to be a combo of Milton Berle, Dudley Moore, and Billy Wilder. All great actors. Well, Milton Berle's not really great, but I love the Arthur flicks.
No, Milton Berle. You kidding me? Milton Berle is like the fucking inventor of like television and shit. You know,
I thought he was like a stand-up.
You know, he was, but he was there back in that time. Like he was always on all the old talk shows and wrote like a lot of that shit and all.
Yeah, the Bob Hope era.
I would say that Milton Berle is definitely the Uncle Milty. I'm going to say is the big name there.
Yeah,
I like Dudley Moore. I like him a lot. I like those original ones. He was funny.
I didn't know Dudley Moore died so young.
How old is he?
I don't know, but if you figure the Arthur movies came out in the 80s, right? Late 80s. He had to be like young 40s then, so he died in his 60s.
You want to know a interesting fact about one Dudley Moore?
Yeah.
I don't know why I have all these fun facts. First, let's see how old he was when he died. He was 66 when he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, still, I mean, that's. I mean, even though nowadays that's the average.
Yeah, right.
The age of a celebrity.
Dudley Moore had a club foot. And
the gout?
Not the gout, just like a straight up club foot, like one of those fucked up feet that you know you see people walking around in boots and shit.
Ugh.
And if you watch, I think it's I think it might be fucking Arthur,
Yeah.
but there's a beach scene. And you don't see like his left foot the whole time. It's because he has a fucking club foot.
Oh, Dudley.
Now look,
I would think it was the gout.
No, well, the gout's not clubfoot. It's two completely different
You
things.
get clubfoot from the gout.
I don't know that that's true. Doctors can verify. If anybody out there could get in touch with us and verify, 1, that the gout equals clubfoot, and 2, that you could tell the size of my penis by my nail beds, please get in touch with us.
Not only is it clubfoot, you get swollen kneecaps, you get the elbow grease.
I know what the gout is, but I don't think that equates
just
to
love the
clubfoot.
gout.
I know.
It's a great disease.
I know a dude that had the gout for a while, and he was
I
in
remember that.
fucking pain, man. I felt bad for that dude.
Why? Because he drank mad draft beer and ate
well,
seafood?
they tell you all the time that it's a different thing. They tell you that it's beer. They tell you that it's alcohol. They tell you that it's certain foods. But I think really what it comes down to is nobody really knows. They know what it is, whatever certain kind of acid that is that builds up. But there's no real there's no way to control it. I don't think.
You get the gout, you're just an unhealthy fuck, probably.
I met some old dude once that told me that you get the gout because they don't clean the tap lines in bars. So if you drink
that makes sense.
If you drink pints of beer out of like in old bars and they don't clean the tap lines, that's how you get the gout.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It makes just as much sense as fucking eating shellfish or what. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just being dirty, I guess. You get the gout.
All I know is some dudes get the gout, some dudes don't.
I'm sure if it was like the 1800s, people were just walking around with gout, just living the gout.
Yeah, but that was just pain. And then they're like, well, I'm going to deal with this pain because I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 32.
Yeah.
Number 2,
C.S. Lewis, Aldous Huxley, and JFK, all on November 22nd, 1963.
Okay, so I know C.S. Lewis.
And you know Aldous Huxley.
Who's Aldous?
Brave New World.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so we got 2 authors and a president.
Look, I love literature, but you can't say that the biggest name isn't JFK on that.
Oh my God,
list.
that's like the biggest death ever.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I mean, Alice in Wonderland's great, but
it's definitely the death I've watched most.
This is a Bruder film,
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
I was obsessed with JFK when I was a kid.
I remember when that Oliver Stone film came out. You would that's all you talked about.
Obsessed, and like to this day, I do research on. I'm like destined to figure out. You know what I mean? Even though I kind of came to a conclusion.
What's your conclusion?
He was a mob boss in New Orleans. His name was Carlos. The fuck was his name? I can't get Carlos Mencia out of my head, but it's something like Carlos.
You heard it here first. Carlos Mencia
Killed
shot JFK.
But yeah, it was whatever the mob boss. He was a big mob boss that worked with Traficante and those dudes, the Southern mob bosses.
Okay.
And he had a personal vendetta with the Kennedy family, and a lot of shit went down. Like the Kennedy family picked him up in a plane and dropped him off in the middle of Colombia once to like go for Belize or somewhere, where they just hoped he would just die in the woods. But he came back and he fucking off the Kennedys. Yeah, but it was definitely him. Sure.
So do you think that what's his name was actually the gunman?
Who, Oswald?
Yeah.
Yes, he was one of them.
So you think that this mob guy hired him to be the gunman?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's why they came in and they fucking killed Oswald when they were bringing him out or whatever.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there was other gunmen, but Oswald was definitely shooting from the book depository.
Okay.
You know, no doubt.
All
But
right.
there was other gunmen.
I feel like you cracked the case.
I did.
Isn't there a thing that and I don't know if you have this information, but wasn't there like a thing that they always said that at a certain year that they were going to release information on that?
It's supposed to be 2017.
Next year, huh?
Next year.
All right. And then we'll finally figure it out?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a piece of paper and just in big letters, it's just going to say CIA.
Yeah. See the grassy knoll. But yeah, it definitely was, because that whole thing Garrison was onto with the whole New Orleans thing, that was definitely true. He was the mob boss in New Orleans. He set up a military camp in New Orleans to teach Marine snipers, to train Marine snipers to shoot from a certain distance and everything.
Okay.
Oswald was there. He set up the whole thing and, succeeded.
Wow.
Back into the left.
Back into the left.
Uh-huh.
Where are we at now? Are we going to number
We're going
one?
to number one.
We're going to number one on RTG's list of top 10 people that died on the same day, and sometimes they're fucking things.
Kind of weren't.
Some people we don't even know who they were. Listen to
You've
this sexy computer.
selected RTG's top 10 list. Files downloading.
If I was an available lady out there, I would send I would send nudes to that computer.
Nudes.
Some sexts. I think the Awkward High Five supercomputer deserves some sexts.
Yeah, we deserve some fucking nudes. Send them shits. So, for number one, we got, of course, I couldn't go anywhere without bringing up La Bamba. So, we got Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and Richie Valens.
Of course,
on
yes.
February 3rd, 1959.
Okay, that's interesting though. So obviously it's not Big Bopper, even though we love him. But out of Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, who do you think is the big name there?
I mean, Buddy Holly's a big name, but personally, it's all about Richie.
Losing Richie really
Because
hurt
I'm
you.
sure, well, it's not about losing Richie. I'm thinking about how upset Bob was on that day.
Oh, Richie!
Yeah.
Neville Richie!
Screaming it from the bridge.
I'm gonna say music-wise though, I think Buddy Holly is the bigger name.
Yeah, of course.
Was when they were playing those shows, was Buddy Holly the headliner?
I'm sure he was.
Yeah, so it probably was Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and then Buddy Holly.
I'm thinking it was Richie Valens' Big Bopper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I'm just thinking.
Right.
But I gotta side with Bob on this one. Bob Morales.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So not only did those three die on the same day, they died in the same aircraft.
They were probably holding hands, confessing that they were gay.
That doesn't make any sense. Nah. Don't sully the names of the three that went down. That, and they've always said, and I think they said it in both the Buddy Holly movie and the Richie Valens movie or whatever, but like I think it's true, but they've always brought up that thing of like they got offered to take the bus because of the bad weather.
Yeah.
And then they turned it down.
Yeah. Well, what in my extensive research of true movies,
right,
I found out that whole coin toss thing, that never happened. Richie was going on the plane no matter what.
So even if Big Bopper and Buddy Holly were going on the bus, Richie was still getting on that plane?
Well, no. Buddy Holly and Big Bopper were going on the plane no matter what.
Oh.
And there was a third seat available, and it was either open to someone in Buddy Holly's band or Richie Valens, and they supposedly did a coin toss to see who got the seat on the plane.
I always thought, naively I suppose, but I always thought that the weather was bad, and they gave all three of them like the option of like, do you still want to ride in this plane because the weather's kind of bad, or you could take the bus, and all three of them were like, no, let's get that plane going.
The weather was bad.
Right.
What happened was the weather was bad, and the heat on the bus broke down. And they didn't have a way to go. But then they fixed the bus, but they couldn't fix the heat. So no one wanted to freeze their ass off on the bus. So Buddy Holly knew someone that can charter a private plane.
Oh.
So Buddy Holly got the plane. He was flying. Big Bopper was like, Buddy's got this plane. Let's do this. Richie, scared of planes, supposedly did a coin toss with this dude to get the third seat. And the dude lost the coin toss. And that was like the first coin toss Richie ever won. Got on the plane and died. But Richie was going on that plane no matter what. He didn't want to freeze on the bus because he was supposedly sick. So he was taking the warm plane over the bus.
I get it.
But I saw an interview with his name was Tom something. I forget what it was. But I saw an interview with him, and he was like, the coin toss never took place. Ritchie was getting that seat on the plane way before
Yeah, they
mine
probably
had.
just used that as a way to like overemphasize the fact that like
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
life
luck. Yeah.
life comes down to one choice. You know, you never know which way you're going.
Exactly.
In some multiverse out there, the Big Bopper and Richie Valens are still playing someplace.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good list, Rich. I'm going to give
It
it.
was a terrible list. But that my point exactly. Like, when you're doing something so, it's just so close. Celebrities dying on the same day. How often could that possibly happen?
Right. I think you've actually pulled up the 10 times that's actually happened.
It could have only been this. It wasn't going to be any greater.
Right. No, and it's interesting in the way that's, and I mean, we've talked about this now for I think 3 podcasts in a row, but it's interesting in the way that society picks and chooses the importance of people and whether or not they were important. Again, like, not to keep beating a dead horse, but like the amount of people that are out there claiming that they love David Bowie, can't be real. You know what I mean? So what makes, like people out there aren't people out there aren't freaking out over Lemmy the way that they're freaking out over Bowie. They're not even freaking out over Glenn Frey, which you would think if you really had to look at things musically, like Glenn Frey would definitely be more popular in America than Bowie was.
Really?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Because all those people in the Midwest and shit, you think they were rocking out the Ziggy Stardust? But they were definitely listening to the Eagles.
I see that.
It's the same reason that this pop country bullshit is the biggest thing in the world, because people, I hate to say it, but they don't have any fucking taste.
Yeah.
And so, like most Eagles fans, you don't have any fucking taste. And so, but I think the thing is that Dave, I just almost called him Dave. For some reason.
Dave.
Old Davey.
Davey boy.
Davy Jones was not only a solo act.
Never want to see this list again.
No, how did you miss that? Not only a solo act, but such a big fucking in your face thing. Whereas Glenn Frey, a lot of people who like the Eagles probably don't even know Glenn Frey's name.
Yeah, there's no Henley.
Yeah, or whatever, or they just know the Eagles because it's a band and and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
What was the Eagles? Oh, Hotel California. I was like, what was their hugest hit?
Well, that's debatable. I mean, I guess Hotel California is their biggest hit, but there's I Take It Easy is giant. They look. Whatever you want to say about the Eagles, they've had massive fucking hits. As far as popular bands go, they're up there. They're giant. So I get it, they're just not my exact cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean,
although I like Joe Walsh a lot.
Nah, I don't like any of that crap.
You don't like Joe Walsh?
My
Maserati drives 85.
I'm gonna have to say I don't like 80 to 90% of the shit they play on 104.3. Because it's the same shit over and over again.
Sure.
I'm not, I love classic rock. Just that stuff has just poisoned me. It's because they would play it over and over again. And unfortunately, I do work in the construction business. So 104.3 being the only radio station that's tolerable, they play the same songs over and over again and force me to hate this shit.
Yeah, no, I get it. I did electric work for a summer. And that fucking yellow DeWitt fucking radio was kicking.
DeWalt?
Oh, DeWalt, is that what it is?
DeWitt.
DeWalt fucking radio was kicking out the classic rock, and it was
the same
literally
shit.
15 songs. It was a Rush, Tom Sawyer. There was a couple
AC/DC.
There was a couple Led Zeppelin, because you always got to get the lead out.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, like
always AC/DC.
it was the same. What was weird is they wouldn't even they wouldn't even really play the Beatles. Like, I'd like to listen to the Beatles.
They would never. Every once in a while, they play back to back Beatles. That's it.
Yeah, right. And it was and every hour they would just repeat over and over and over again. And it was.
There's so many songs to choose from. I don't get it.
Because for these radio stations, it has nothing to do with like getting across, like, listen to this music. This music was awesome. They just have surveys and everything put together of the top however many songs that people respond to and like, and they just play those over and over again because they just want to sell advertising.
That sucks.
It has nothing to do with, that's what commercial radio had become. It doesn't have anything to do with music, really. It has to do with, if we play these songs, we'll get people to listen to us so we can sell fucking soap and fucking shit in between. And that's all that is. And that's all classic rock is.
Soap.
But I don't know why I picked soap out of nowhere. But thankfully, with technology now, you don't ever have to fucking listen to the radio.
I know. But there's something about listening to the radio that's different from listening to, like...
Well, it's the same thing we talk about the Twilight Zone marathon.
Exactly.
They choose for you, which is nice. But if they're going to choose 12 shitty songs that you don't want to hear, then there's no point in listening to it,
Right.
Because I'm not I'm not a huge Zeppelin fan. I'm not a Doors fan. I'm like borderline an AC/DC fan. I could like take or leave them.
Really? You're even on the border of that?
Yeah, some of those songs are okay. You know, like shit.
I was into that whole Money Talk song. That song was the shit.
Yeah. Oh
I like
yeah,
that
you love
song.
that song.
That was a great song.
But where all the money falls from the crowd.
That song's the shit. You know what? I'm borderline too, baby.
Yeah, all right.
I like that.
Borderline.
But I guarantee you there's probably songs that I could go if I really wanted to dive into, not the Doors, but if I really wanted to dive into the Led Zeppelin catalog, I'm sure that I could find some B-sides and shit that I'd be like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know?
Yeah,
and
so many good Zeppelin.
What I've always said about Zeppelin is that if I was alive, if I was like alive and like a teenager in my 20s when Led Zeppelin came around, they would be my favorite band. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that Led Zeppelin is a bad band, you know, because everybody always just freaks out when you say like you don't like Led Zeppelin, like it was the craziest thing that you've ever said in your life. My thing is that I came around later and had the benefit of all these bands, like let's say Guns N' Roses or something like that, who were the next coming up, like Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin had already been so exhausted on rock radio stations and all that stuff that I heard my whole life that it was just kind of background white noise to me. So whatever impact Led Zeppelin had for people, like, oh my God, this is so heavy, or listen to these, you know, this guy sing and all that shit, it didn't hit me. I wasn't there. You know?
I know what you mean.
You know. So, but if I was in whenever they came around in the late '60s or whatever, if I was 15 years old, I'm sure I'd be wearing a fucking Led Zeppelin shirt right now.
Well, for me, Zeppelin's the whole what we were talking about last time about the being older and going back to appreciate. Because there's a lot of things that, you know, about the white noise, like you just said, like it's just almost just like you're so used to it, and it's like whatever. But, you know, you take some of those lesser-known Zeppelin songs and you go back and listen to it. Again, like you said, I could be biased with the whole drumming thing.
Right.
Because that is the first thing I hear when I hear songs.
Bottom was an amazing drummer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah. And when I hear a new song or whatever, that is the first thing I hear over the lyrics, over the guitar. I hear the drumming first, you know, unfortunately.
Right.
But I guess that's where my Zeppelin like comes from.
Look, I 100% admit like that I am in the minority. You know, there's two bands my whole life that when I tell people I don't like them, they look at me like I'm fucking nuts, and that's Led Zeppelin and the fucking Doors.
Why the Doors, though?
Because Jim Morrison.
No, not why don't you like them, but why do people think you're crazy? I don't think the Doors were that big.
People fucking love the Doors, and everybody of our generation loves the Doors because Oliver Stone put that movie out when we were early teenagers. Mm-hmm. So, and then
that was a good flick.
But remember after, it's not. I'm not denying that it was a good. I like that movie. But number one, it just like most biopics was very fucking out there. Like it wasn't true, you know. Like some of it was true, but they romanticized the whole thing,
of course.
And then everybody our age started buying all the albums and had Jim Morrison poetry books and all that shit. So not only did all the people that came before us really like the Doors, then because of that movie, everybody our age really liked the Doors. So whenever I said that I didn't like the Doors, it was like fucking blasphemy, you know. And also, I think I've said this on the podcast before, I don't dislike the Doors. I like Robbie Krieger and Ray Manzarek and
Ray was the money.
Yeah, they wrote really cool music. It was just that fucking asshole who was in front of that band which by the way, I see right through. That's the thing. I see right through him. Like there was nothing poetic about his lyrics. It was just it was just some jumbled mess on a fucking thing that he just wrote words and then tried to act like they meant something. It was that
pretentious shit.
Yeah,
again.
It was. That's why I don't like it. It was pretentious.
Yeah.
There to me. And I know that people are listening to this right now being like, holy shit, how can you say that? But to me, Jim Morrison was a fake. And I don't know why. I could be completely wrong. But my whole life, I've listened to it. I tried to get into it. I listen to it and I just hear this mumbling dude that's just trying to act like these fucking non sequiturs that he wrote down on a piece of paper make any sense. You know?
No, I totally see that.
Like the blue bus is calling us. He just saw a blue bus roll down the fucking street.
Yeah, he was just a junkie.
Yeah, right. So for that reason alone, it's the same thing with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. If the Red Hot Chili Peppers didn't have Anthony Kiedis as a singer, I'd probably love the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Kiedis
same thing with the Doors. You know, so that's all. And
Kiedis can't sing live for shit.
Before we start getting out of here, if
really, that's it?
Yeah, that's it for now. If you would like to be a guest on the Awkward Hi-Fi podcast, email us at awkwardhi5podcast@gmail.com, or you could get in touch with us on Twitter and everything. But we're going to start now that the new year is established and we're doing things. We're going to start taking on guests, so I'm going to start throwing that out there.
And you can't just be in it. You got to have something
to
offer.
Now, yeah, the thing is like if you want to be on the podcast because you're a musician or you're a comedian or you have a product that you want to push and you could have a fun conversation for an hour, but get in touch with us. And we're going to start setting that up. So I'm just throwing that out there. Otherwise, if you haven't already, go on iTunes and leave a review. Once we have 100 reviews, we're going to throw the 100 review party where we're going to drink a lot of alcohol and
I
make
was
a ruckus.
pushing for this summer, but I don't think we're going to make it.
Why? No, we're fine.
We're like stalled in the 40s.
No, but the listenership is going up very these are things that I don't really want to talk about on the podcast because nobody
I just want to have
cares.
this damn party.
Yeah, I know. You just want to get drunk. Look, we could just have a party if you want because people won't be there.
All right, fuck it. We're doing the 50 review party.
No, we're not doing that because we're too close to that, and I got have plans for that. But
75.
100 reviews. Just go if you listen to podcasts and you like it, help your buds out. Go on the iTunes, leave a review. Follow us on Twitter at awkward AHI5. And we will see you guys very soon. Thanks.
Trees, my thirst and hunger seem to increase. The music we made is one to be loved. Every time I dream, I end up above. Hey lover, where did you go? We first met a long time ago. I always knew how to treat you, but now I can see you through this cloud of smoke. With love, with breath, wanna smoke you up. Even though my chest hurts, smoke you up. Get more, bit less, wanna smoke you up. Inhale my best, and I'm out of luck.
Thanks for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, visit awkwardhigh5.com.